Salut et bienvenue sur MyCanal, vous regardez Click. La version intégrale est disponible gratuitement sur MyCanal. Notre invité aujourd'hui est quelqu'un dont vous ne connaissez absolument rien si vous ne connaissez pas la culture des sneakers. Il a commencé à 13 ans en vendant des baskets dans l'arrière-boutique de son cousin. Aujourd'hui, il est à la tête d'un empire. Cet empire s'appelle Kiss. Il a collaboré avec des marques de baskets, maintenant avec des voitures. Et son empire s'étend dans tout le monde entier avec des boutiques qui rayonnent dans les plus grandes villes du monde. Le Click Kiss, c'est maintenant. J'ai réussi à le dire.
Good to meet you.
Me too. When I knew you were in Paris, I wanted to speak with you. It was the end of the season for us. I was in holiday and I wanted to meet you.
I appreciate that.
For one reason.
Okay.
What the people are called the culture and our culture, and I would like you to give me your definition of our culture.
So, I grew up in a small city called Queens.
Yeah,
which
South
is-
Jamaica.
Yes, which is a borough inside of New York City, and similar to Paris in many ways. You see a lot of different cultures, a lot of
Yeah.
different styles,
Yeah.
a lot of different people from all over the world,
Yeah.
basically. And I think that what I grew up seeing in Queens was a melting pot of so many different styles and cultures that became who I am today, So as time went by, I feel like all the products that I've ever been into, and I'm a product guy, has been an evolution of what I've loved, between the ages of 13 to 18.
This is the point.
Yeah,
To me, this is my theory,
yeah,
and I'm borrowing all my friends with that theory, is that sneakers, the look, the fashion, to be fly, were the ancestor of the social medias. When you were walking in the streets,
yeah,
you could see in which community could be this guy or that girl,
yeah.
And it was so powerful to be a part of it that when I was a kid, like a simple sneakers, it was all a dream to have a sneakers.
When I pump up, my size 13s get support, protection, and a custom fit. So, Michael, my man, if you want to fly first class, pump up and air out.
I think the simple things when you're younger, the simple things made you the happiest, and that's, till today, I feel like my obsession with product still makes me the most happy. And I think that that's what the culture is in my world. It's like the common thread in what we do, and our people, whether that work for the store or customers that come to the store, I think that that's the common thread, is our obsession with product, and happiness that comes from product. And like you said, like the word fly, getting fly or dressing fly, like that was a term in the 90s that I think that people's priority list was always like, I need to look the part, and even if they couldn't necessarily live the life of that part, they needed to have a piece of that life by being able to showcase it and I guess self-express how they feel about the culture by the way they wear it, So I think that watching my sister's 6 years older, and going to public school in 4th grade, I was influenced by an older generation, and got into film and music really early, and that's what really is the core base of what I like today. Because what you love, like I said before, what you love between the ages of 13 and 18 is what you'll love for the rest of your life. I think that goes for everybody.
Why did you love the sneakers?
In 1995, when the Flight 95s came out, which was, the Jason Kidd shoe at the time.
The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. And the revolution will not fail. For with every no-look pass, every three-point shot, every crossover, and every strong finish, Jason Kidd speaks for the revolution. For the revolution is about basketball.
That was the first time I bought two of the same shoe because my sister got her first credit card. So she wanted to go shopping and she asked me to come with her and she couldn't find anything in her size. So she wanted to spend money on the credit card. She told me, oh, buy something. And I bought two pairs of the same shoe because I love them so much. Because it looked like a spaceship. You know, the Flight 95 looks like a spaceship. And it was like so different from anything I've ever seen that it was a magnet, you know? It like drew me to design. You know what I'm saying? So I think it's rooted in you, the way, you know, my mother is a very, very well-dressed woman that growing up, she didn't have a lot of money to spend on clothing, so she had to piece together outfits without spending a lot of money. So it forces you to be, you know, I guess very unique in what you buy and how you piece it together. So it wasn't so much one piece of clothing, it was more so like what the outfit looked like. And I think that played a big part for me because she was so unique in the pieces that she liked to buy that I think that she instilled that in me to always have a different perspective on design, you know?
You speak about clothes, shoes, and design as we could speak about a memory of music, a memory of food, a memory of a kiss.
Yeah, I mean, I have those too. I think they all are intertwined, you know, and for me, the memory of product is the same as a memory of music, you know, like sometimes food and music, like you just said, those are the two like unique memories that really bring you back to that moment. And the whole concept of what I try to do is, I remember like when I used to open up a fresh pair of Clark Wallabies and a fresh pair of Timberlands or a fresh pair of Air Force Ones, and the feeling that I used to get with a brand new pair of shoes is the same feeling that I try to bring to today's world.
Do you know that French expression, Madeleine de Proust?
I don't
know. The Madeleine
no.
of Proust.
What does that mean?
Proust, which is considered as one of the greatest writers in France and in the world, was talking about the taste of a cake of his mother. And every time he was thinking of his past and he was feeling bad,
he would think of that.
He was thinking about the taste.
That's so funny. It's like, I want that feeling every day. So I try to create as much as I can so that, you know, it's funny because like I get to work very early in the office in New York. And the first thing I do is I run to the other side of the office so I could see what came in the day before on the production side. And seeing first and second samples of a new creation gives me that feeling every day. And I'm addicted to that feeling. You know, I'm addicted to product. I'm addicted to it. So as long as I'm able to create, I'm able to keep my sanity and be happy.
Is it a good lesson for somebody who will get into a business to tell to a girl or a guy, be connected of your child dreams?
Yeah, I think
of your
so.
Child passions?
Yeah, I think so. I think that we live a short life, you know, like 80 years, 90 years if we're lucky, 100 years if we're really lucky. But I think that our life is an evolution. Like our memories are banks in our brain that I think continue to build like building blocks. Like you build memories on top of memories, right? And then when you go back to an old memory and the feeling of an old memory, trying to accomplish some of those things that you want when you're younger, I think are some of the best feelings that you could have in life. You know, and a perfect example would be coming here. You know, I came to the store for the first time 3 days ago, you know, because I had a baby and because...
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Boy or girl?
I had a girl.
Mazel tov.
Thank you very much. I had a baby girl, which has changed my life completely, perspective completely. but I couldn't come to the store because I had a child and because of COVID restrictions, you know? But coming to the store for the first time 3 days ago, like we worked on designing the store for a year and a half, and then it took another almost year and a half to build the store. So you're talking about like almost 3 years of putting the store together. And I think that this was a culmination of all of the things that I've learned in the last 10 years, plus my entire life before then, before, you know, Kith was founded in 2011. And this is one of those childhood dreams. The childhood dream was something a lot smaller than this, you know? But as you grow older, your dreams compound. Like, they start multiplying, you know? And then you're able to accomplish some of those things you dream about, and then the dream becomes bigger. And it's not that the dream from before disappears, it's that you build on top of them.
Do you have
know?
dreams for your child?
Of course. I mean, that's like probably what I think about the most now is...
I mean, in the world we're living today, all the
Yes.
transformation, the changes.
Yes, you know, and the biggest dream I have for my child is that my child will be able to live through life, or a portion of her life, the way I grew up, with a lot more emotion and a lot more face-to-face, because I feel like, in a lot of ways, I feel like the digital era of what we're going through today has taken out of human emotion, you know, and it's been the topic of every dinner for the last year, especially during COVID. Like, digital fatigue is a real thing, and I feel like you start to lose a piece of life when you start to live life on a digital platform. And social currency is a big problem, and people doing things that are only worth TikToking or Instagramming or whatever it is, like that's a big issue, you know. And I think the youth today is very caught up in that world. So it's going to be a battle, a constant battle, to make sure that we go in the opposite direction of that.
Can we go back in time when you were 13?
Sure.
When it was your bar mitzvah?
Yeah.
Can you explain in a few words what is a bar mitzvah?
A bar mitzvah, when you turn 13, it's when, you know, the saying is when a child becomes a man, right? And when you as a man, if you're turning 13, a bar mitzvah for a boy, bat mitzvah for a girl. But if it's a bar mitzvah and the boy is turning into a man, basically you're taking on the responsibilities of life.
I'm asking this question because when you had your bar mitzvah,
Yes.
you decided to take the money as a kid and to put it into your business as a man.
I'll explain what happened. So I had a second cousin, my mom's first cousin, right? His name was David Zakin, also known as David Z. And it was a very popular shoe store. At the time, there were 3 shoe stores in New York City, in Manhattan. And he became my idol from the age of like 10 to 13.
And for those who don't know, it was the shoe store when you were going there, you were sure to see a rap star.
Yes, the hip hop culture lived in the most amazing time, I think, in the hip hop era. Well, you know, I was born in '82, so I'm not so familiar with the eras before me. But in my life, that era was really special because it was before a lot of these hip hop stars became like real superstars. They were very relatable and accessible, meaning like you'd see them around, you know, everywhere. You know what I mean? In New York City. But
You could go to Fat Beats,
yeah.
to A1, to
Right.
David Z.
That's right, that's right. And like 8th Street, where we were, was like the epicenter of culture. It's where a lot of the hip hop stars would hang out on the weekend. And I was working in the shop where all of them would come in and buy their footwear. But before I started working there, to go back to the story, my uncle, I called him my uncle, he was my second cousin. He became I idolized him because he had his own business. You know, he was driving a new SUV in yellow. to the house, and you know, I remember just seeing this guy being like, yo, like I want to be like that guy, you know, like I want to own my own business, but more importantly, like I want to affect the culture, like I want to have an input of how I feel about product. Like I started to feel that way, that I wanted to get into being able to provide product to the culture, you know, like, and for my bar mitzvah, he knew that my parents were gonna pay off my party with the gifts that I was getting. So all of the money that I was getting for my bar mitzvah from everybody, my parents were gonna use the money to pay off the party, and he knew. So when I was walking to the bathroom, he stopped me and told me, I know your parents are paying for the, so he gave me an envelope. He said, you know, this is for you. And I looked at the envelope, and it was a lot of money in the envelope, but I said, thank you, but no thank you. And I gave him the envelope back, and I said, I want a job instead, you know? And I started working the next day, June 16, 1995.
Was it one of the most important decisions of your life?
I think so, yeah. And you know, I don't necessarily believe in luck. I believe in making the best of an opportunity, and I do believe that if you get a head start on knowing what you want to do with the rest of your life from an early age, I feel like you will have an advantage in being able to master your craft, you know. And I think that I was lucky enough to know. Lucky, I don't believe in luck, but the only thing I feel like I was fortunate enough is basically understanding what I wanted to do early on in life.
Do you know about the 10,000 hours theory?
It's funny you're saying that, because I'm working on a project right now that you will see very soon in July that combats the theory, because they say to master your craft you need 10,000 hours, and you know, that's very little, in my opinion. You know, so mastering your craft means devoting your entire life.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Giving, and this is something that you will see in a project that I'm working on already. After this interview, I'll let you listen to it. It's a voiceover by a very famous actor, where I wrote the script with one of the guys that works for me. His name is Austin. And it speaks to what it takes to master your craft. Because I believe that I was very fortunate to make a decision very early on what I'm going to do with the rest of my life. And I knew the minute I started touching product in the basement, working in the stockroom, I had one-on-one time with the product. As product was coming in, I was opening up every box, looking at every product. I think that was a very big reason, an important reason I was able to evolve and work my way. I'm 26 years in retail and product this past June, so like a couple of weeks ago. That's why I don't think 10,000 hours, to me, I don't think that theory really speaks to what it takes to master your craft, because it's devoting your entire life, because you're consistently learning over and over and over again, and you're getting better at what you do. The more time you put in, the better you get. It doesn't mean the more successful you get, it means the better you get. And success is measured, everybody has their own measure of success. To me, you know, throughout the years, it has become happiness. Happiness is real success, you know? And as you have a kid and your family expands, I think the perspective on happiness changes. And now all I think about is wanting to be the best, you know, inspiration for my daughter, and best father that I could be for my daughter. And I don't know, it's just, it's a good feeling to continuously know that you don't know anything. You know, and it took me years to understand that, by the way. It wasn't always that clear, but I think the older you get and the more successes you have, the more you start to understand what's really important in life.
The advice you could give is, if you know, you don't know.
Yeah,
the opposite of being.
And if you don't know, now you know, nigga.
He said, if you don't know, now you know, right? And he meant like about himself, like learning about him, you know what I'm saying? But in this situation, I think that for me, it's just, I try to surround myself with people that know more than me.
Yeah.
And people who can inspire me and teach me.
Yeah.
You know, like the designers that I have today that work with me on the collection have taught me so much. It was like, it was really the best school that I've had to date, you know, and...
What do you say to the kids of your generation who went to the real school, and maybe some of your employees who made, I think, big schools?
Yeah, sure.
How do you behave with them?
I think that school can teach you certain things, and there's definitely a value to what education can give you, you know? A proper education, meaning going to college or university, maybe getting your master's. There's definitely, it depends, you know, it's all on a case-by-case basis and what you decide to do with your life and how much you can implement the education that you've had into what you do. But I think that there definitely is a big portion of what you learn in life. I think that it could play a major part in that. But I dropped out of college in my last semester before I graduated from Baruch, which is a great business school in New York City. I felt like I was learning more about the business and what I was doing when I became a buyer at David Z. And for some people, you know, it may be different for some people. They may use it as a stepping stone, and they may not work as they go to school the way I did, and they may start working only after school. So it all depends. I still very much think that educational is very helpful.
I know that you've met a lot of designers and inspiring people and artists, but have you met like bosses of great companies?
Yeah.
And is there a common point in the way of thinking of those people?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was, you know, fortunate enough to meet some great people in my life and that have inspired me a lot without them even knowing it, you know? And I think that the common thread with great leaders is understanding that it's not about one person. It's about a team. It's about the team that you build. And I know, for example, like I know I'm not going to be able to be in this store very often, but I know that the team here will be an extension of me and my morals in the sense of what we want to accomplish as a brand. Everyone here is an extension of myself and the brand ethos and DNA of what we're trying to do. So I think that every leader and every CEO or, you know, founder, every great CEO understands that people are assets, you know, and the team are your real assets.
That's why we are called Click.
Yeah.
Because I don't believe in the self-made man storytelling.
Yeah.
Nobody can succeed alone.
That's
I
true.
will be nothing without my team.
That's 100% true, you know, and even if you're the greatest golfer in the world, which is a one-man sport, you need an army behind you to be successful, you know? So I agree with that. The only thing I am here to provide is a point of view, because I feel like I have a very unique point of view in the way that I was raised and what I've seen growing up and also what I've learned between then and now. As long as the people on my team continue to believe in me, I think that my point of view on what the brand should be doing will be an important one for the culture, for what we mean in our market. And as long as I strongly believe in myself, I think that I will be able to lead a team to the future of what this brand can do. And yeah, and I think that like you said before, I feel like the right word for it is like understanding the wisdom part of life. It's like I'm 39 now, And I've been working in this world since 1995. And I believe that I have a lot to offer the younger generation on work ethic and stopping at nothing to do what you need to do to feel accomplished and what you dream about. So that's really the goal. The goal now is to be able to pass the baton, you know, and have people really believe in themselves within this world and give people the tools, you know, and working with younger artists, younger brands, so I can help with the knowledge that I have to, you know, hopefully set them on the right path for their success. So, yeah.
There is an interesting stuff that we can discuss is when you were talking about the damages of the social media, the real damages that we are seeing now, and the myth as the self-made man. Now, people, young people, even people of our generation who are on the social media, think they're a star, think they're value, think they're assets, just because they're showing their life.
Yeah, what that's done, and again, I think that you're gonna see the next project I'm working on, which is called Master Your Craft. We speak on we touch on people seeing the end result and not necessarily seeing and understanding the process. So everybody believes that they could do it without putting the work in. And that's what social media has done. It's created a false narrative on how people actually get to where they are. And that's why I try very hard to show the process and the work, you know, because I feel like pretty soon what's going to happen is that I believe that in the future there will be an anti-social movement because of what comes out of social.
Yeah.
I think it's become a little more negativity coming out of it than I would like. I still think that if you use it as a tool for positivity, then I think you can accomplish that. You know, I use it as a timeline for me in my life. And it's like the reminder, the memory. That's what Instagram was made for, is to capture moments. And obviously it stands for a lot more than that now. And there definitely is a lot of positivity to bring awareness around the world to certain topics. But I also think that mental illness is a real issue that will come out of social media, you know, and it's because of FOMO, you know, which is, you know, fear of missing out. People feeling like they always need to be everywhere to feel happy. And it's a real problem because I felt it myself at some points. And I don't think that anyone is immune to it. I think that if you're on it, you're contributing in some way, for the good or bad. So I see what's happening with mental health around the world, and you're hearing about it more and more. And I think as that begins to become more of an issue, I think that people are gonna find out that the number one cause is probably social media, you know? Because it's a lot for people to comprehend. Scrolling, it's just a lot to absorb.
Yeah, because it's shaking egos every day, every minute.
Yeah, but not even that. It's also just taking in so much info.
Yeah.
It doesn't let you live for the moment, you know, or live in the moment. And I catch myself having the same issues when I get caught up in it. And I'm not saying that, you know, I found the solution. I'm saying that eventually there will have to be some sort of movement for people to unlearn, you know, those habits.
Tell me, we're gonna play. You're not a father. You're not old. I'm the same age than you.
Okay.
You're not old. You're a kid. You're 13. This is
Okay.
not your bar mitzvah.
Okay. Okay.
you want to build an empire. What
Yeah.
is what would you do now in 2021 at 30 years old?
Start working at the very bottom of whatever it is I want to do. That's always the advice that I give the youth, is learn whatever you want to do from the bottom up. Because if you start in the middle, I don't think you will be as successful as if you've learned what it takes to get to the middle, you know? And, you know, we spoke about the pros and cons of school. We spoke about pros of school, of going to school. But the cons of going to school is starting in the middle. Because when you get out of school, you have, you know, the credentials to land you a job that's somewhere in the middle of a company, you know? Potentially, in some companies. Where I think that if you go to school and you start working to learn a business that you want to get into, I think that that can help you for your path, you know? And that's what's helped me. So the only advice I could give is the experience that I had in my life and what has helped me grow as a person. And I worked, I think it was 8 different jobs at David Z before I left to start my own company. And I got to really understand the different facets of the business. Front-facing and then behind the scenes. A lot of creatives that don't understand the business portion of what it takes to have a successful brand. I think that that's where they get stuck. So it's really good to learn whatever it is you're planning on doing holistically so you could be successful, instead of just picking up certain pieces and starting in the middle.
Some people in the Drake song started from the bottom, now we're here. They just listen, now we're here.
Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now my whole team fucking here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. Started from the bottom, now the whole team
Exactly.
here.
They like the Now We're Here remix, you know? So it's a misconception, but I got to tell you, I have a lot of faith in the future of the younger generation because, number one, the younger generation is smarter than the older generation.
That's true.
Because they have to pick up a lot, you know, and so much information is being thrown at them that they need to compartmentalize all of this info and file it in their brain in ways that we didn't have to. And also, I have conversations with I have 3 younger nephews, 18, 16, and 12. And conversations with each of them are different. But I always pick their brain in understanding the way they think. And, you know, the younger generation cares a lot about the earth, a lot about sustainability. And I think that the earth is in good hands with the younger generation for what they want to do to change things, you know? And it's a new way of thinking. The New World Order is, it puts the old traditional way of doing things in the garbage, and it's starting this fresh new wave of modernism, which is an evolved way of thinking, you know, and it's incredible. I feel like I'm this last generation that's really half and half pre-internet and post-internet era.
You did your own business with your crew, with Kiss,
Yeah.
and now we are watching like big empires, economic empires, buying designers like Virgil with LVMH. They're all trying to get a part of this culture.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
Did you had offers of these big groups?
Yes, I have, and I'm not in a position yet, nor do I know if I ever will be, of wanting to hand over this business. Because like I said before, I am really addicted to creating. It's like a legal drug, you know. It's like and there are definitely side effects, but as long as I can continue to create and be happy, because that's the key, right? Is like continue to run this business, because I'm not only the creative director, I'm also the CEO. We now have close to 400 employees globally, and things have gotten a lot more difficult on the business side. But to me, the priority is continuously creating and being able to be creative, and also the DNA of Kith, which is continuously shifting the culture and accomplishing things that have never been done before and pushing the envelope and working on new things. As long as I can continue to excite myself and my team with new opportunities that I have to think of in my downtime, then I think that I will continue to do what I'm doing.
I don't know anything about business, truly. I don't know anything about business, but when I see a guy who has like a store on Champs-Élysées, who does collaboration with BMW and who gets a kind of new Colette in Paris.
But we're not on Champs-Élysées.
We're not in Champs-Élysées, but close.
There's a big difference though,
Yeah.
because this street that I'm on right now has almost no foot traffic, but it sits in between an incredible shopping district, which is luxury, and then also world famous, huge shopping district or street like Champs-Élysées, which is very similar to opening on Lafayette.
Yeah.
And that's what we try to do is
But you're independent.
independent. Yeah, and I'm sorry, I stopped you in the middle there, but you were going to say, what were you going to say about being in this area and working
Being
on
in this
project?
area from the outside,
Yes.
it could be, okay, this guy has built an empire. But I would like to know, what are the side effects that you're talking about?
The side effects is time, and I think that what people tend to enjoy in their life, they come usually talk about the typical worker who works, what we say in the U.S., which is 9 to 5 or 8 hours a day. There is a balance after work, and between times that you work, and it's I think very difficult right now for me to balance work and life outside of work, because I live my job. So I'm working every waking moment, and I know a lot of people like me too, so I'm not the only one. But what people can do for their little bit of happiness during the day, maybe after work they grab a beer, they hang out, they have conversations with their friends. These are things that I used to do back in the day. And then go home, and it's still maybe 9 o'clock at night, because it's 9 to 5, 3 hours with friends, you go home.
I don't know that life.
It's 8 or 9,
Yeah.
and then you get home and you relax, you watch a movie, and
That's a dream life.
and then you go to sleep by midnight, and then you wake up the next day, and you go to the gym, and then you go to work. I haven't been able to do that in a very long time, because I've had to sacrifice those little things that may make me happy, so I can continue to maximize the potential of a puppy that has grown up to be a huge dog, right? Not huge, but a really big one, and I have to continue doing that so I can continue to one up or raise the bar from what we've done previously, because that's part of the DNA of what we do. We're never comfortable, we're never stagnant, but now that projects have gotten so big, to continuously outdo the project before has been, it's kind of like a self-inflicting issue. That still is I'm very competitive in nature, so it's I want to see the legacy of this brand continue to evolve.
Where do you watch when you think? Do you watch in front of you, the future, left, right, or behind?
I only am looking for the now and for 5 years from now. It's I have extreme tunnel vision. Because we're doing so much, I don't have the luxury of looking anywhere else, And I won't call it the luxury. I think that if you're focused primarily on what you do and the future of what you're doing, I think that would help. That would help take you as far as you can get, because if you're thinking about the past or thinking about what other people are doing, I think that it can ultimately affect you in a negative way.
So you never look at what the other are doing.
I won't say I never do, because it's around us, you know, like, again, we're on social media, you know, I'm looking always, like, whenever I'm on my phone, which I looked at my screen time the other day, and I spend a little less than an hour on Instagram every day.
Congratulations.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot, you know, and that's a lot. But it's 4 hours? Oh, man.
On the phone?
No, 4 hours. I have 4 hours a day on my phone, screen time.
No, I have 4 hours on my phone.
But
this is my best.
Yeah, but I'm a little less than an hour on Instagram a day.
That's
and
a
I think
lot.
everybody.
I didn't
everybody looks-
understood. That's a lot.
The other 3 hours I'm answering Slack or emails, you know, but I'm on Instagram also because I'm posting stories one at a time, so that takes a long time when I am doing that. And when I'm not doing that, I'm, you know, answering messages, a lot of DMs that come in, and friends that interact only over Instagram now, because that's like a thing, you know, like they won't even text you, they'll hit you on DM on Instagram. It's like, it's become the way of communicating. You know, but I also see what other people are doing. And it's important for me to see it, but in the sense of how it affects my work, when I go to work on my own, like I'm focused solely on the evolution of what we've done and continuously trying to get better. Like that's always the goal.
This place is a living place. You can come, you can chill, you can eat, listen to music, talk to some people. It's not a COVID place. What this crisis change in the way you
That people interact.
your way or your concept, your next episodes?
It didn't affect the concept at all. COVID was a 1.5 year bump in the road, you know, and there were times during COVID where I thought that we'd go out of business. I'm sure that a lot of businesses felt that way. When things first started shutting down, it was very scary. But the concept of what I'm trying to do by bringing people together and having like a place where people can spend time together and enjoy themselves, whether you're going to the restaurant, and I think Sadel's is one of the better things that I've ever done. Because I've been here for the last 3 days, sitting down every single day and feeling the atmosphere and what that means by bringing a New York City brunch legend. Sadel's is a legend in New York. Bringing that to Paris so people can enjoy bagels and French toast. Very different type of French toast than what the French are used to. But I think adding this element to this world here in Paris is going to make people's lives better in Paris. Meaning, if you come here on a Saturday, I really think I can positively affect people's lives where they can come and enjoy themselves. And that's the goal. That's the whole goal. We work backwards from an experience in the shop. Everything else works backwards from there, you know? In the States, I think that people know to come to us for many different things, you know? Like, some people, I believe, wake up or plan it the day before to say, oh, it's Saturday, I'm off. Like, what are you gonna do today? Oh, I'm gonna go to Kith. A lot of people make a day of it. You know, they come by, they talk to the guys, and that's very important because the concept is, you know, Kith means friends. So the goal is for all of the employees to become friends, you know, with all of the consumers that come in. And when that happens, people come in just to have conversations, to read a magazine, to buy an ice cream. And what people have typically thought of as far as a shopping experience has changed. It's no longer just a shopping experience. It's not a department store concept.
It's a social experience.
Yeah, and it's not meant, the purchase of product is secondary to the experience. The experience has always been, first and foremost, the most important element of the business, you know? And that's what we try to do here more than any other store, is bring community to the store. Like-minded people, a bunch of people that like the same things hanging out together. I mean, I would want that if I wasn't doing it, I'd want to go and visit, you know? And even as being as in it as I am, I still enjoy myself being here and meeting new people in the space. It's been fun, and it's been refreshing with COVID, you know, to get to meet new people in a setting I think is very refreshing right now.
There is no success without failure. What are the failures who gave you the most important lessons in your life?
I think that I've made a few mistakes that are not outwardly facing, that are mostly internal mistakes that sometimes I feel like I'm continuously correcting myself by what I need to be doing to invest in people. Also, what I need to do, what the brand needs to do, the influence that the brand has to give back to the community, I think is really important. And I think that as time has gone by, I've at certain points started to think about what have I done in the past? Have I done the most that I can? And I think that I was so focused for such a long time on growing the brand and always concentrating on taking the brand to the next level that I didn't allot the time that I am today on what we could do to always give back as an influential brand. So I won't necessarily say that it's a failure. I'll say it's a learning curve. And as I'm continuously learning, I'm understanding the power and the influence that this brand can have to project positivity and do what the brand can do to make a positive impact on the world. And I think that that's a continuous learning curve for me. So I think that that's helped me get better.
When you're talking about the influence that you have, how do you think to use it in a positive way?
Yeah, working with smaller brands has been an objective for us, and smaller artists. And also, working with foundations to give back to the community, like I mentioned, to the less fortunate. We've been donating a lot of footwear to It's From the Soul, which is owned by actually this guy Andre that works for us in Soho now, and he gives footwear to the homeless, and I think that that's been an incredible way for us to give back. But also, what we've been doing with artists that can use our platform, which we've done in February for Black History Month, is like helping designers and brands use our brand as a platform to grow. I think that that's really important, and we want to implement that moving forward. I think that the brand is going to be doing a lot of different things in the future. We have a couple of projects lined up where you're going to see us activate an arm of the company where we haven't previously done it in the way that we're going to be doing it in the future. So I don't want to give away some of the projects that are coming up, but there's one big one in July that's coming next month. And projecting positivity and using the brand as a beacon so people can learn and be inspired by positivity, and also influence people to give back, I think is important.
I'd like to ask you something which can motivate the youth watching us, is the definition of the risk. How do you know when you have to take a risk? Because what you did here in Paris is a risk.
Sure. I think I think every business is a risk, and this maybe is the biggest risk that we've taken as a brand. Coming abroad to a city where we haven't done much business in the past, But this is, you know, the greater the risk, the greater the reward. And I really feel like we have a lot to contribute to each city where we show up, whether it was Tokyo last July, which, by the way, I haven't seen that space yet because they won't let any Americans in. They won't let anyone in because the Olympics is coming up, so they're being very strict on with COVID regulations. But I haven't seen that store yet, and that's like my favorite city in the world. Paris is definitely one of my favorite cities too, but I think that...
I feel you.
Yeah, I think it's been tough, but the risks have been worth it. You know, they've been worth the time, the effort, and right now, like, to do something like this, it exhausts the entire system, the whole team. There were over 100 people on my team involved in this shop. I'm talking about from the States, you know? Every part of the brand and the company touched something to do with the store. So it's a lot.
Where's your home now?
My home is in Brooklyn. You know, and we moved our offices to Brooklyn. You know, there's a rivalry between Queens and Brooklyn. I'll always be a Queens kid. But it's very close to the city. It's very close to my Soho store. So it's for proximity. I'm very happy in Brooklyn.
We always ask this to the artists that we interview. What is your definition of a clique?
Clique. It's, you know, we have the term just us for the brand. I'm sure you heard it before. My clique is everyone who is like-minded in this world, who wants to be different through product, you know? So, you know, fashion is a form of self-expression, and like I said before, and I think anyone who feels special leaving the store with product that they buy here, like, we have a common ground there. So, like, I feel like that's part of the just us mentality. Like, you know, this is supposed to be training with the team. We have a big team here. A big part of the training is everybody's invited. Making everybody feel like they are a part of this. So when we win, everyone wins, you know? And that's a big portion of it. And we're continuously speaking about that. And if you go, which I want you to, if you go and you sit down and you have a meal here, or you go upstairs and you get the walkthrough of the building, you're supposed to leave here feeling like, okay, I know where I want to go on Saturday when I want to have a meal or a brunch. I know where I need to go now when I want, you know, if I'm going to go shopping for the season, like, that's the feeling that we want to give people, and I want everyone to feel like they are part of my clique.
So welcome to our clique.
Thank you. Very nice.
You're welcome.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you very much.